Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Surviving Romance. Today we're going to do pan-fried chicken tenders. Now, I know a lot of times you'll take your sweethearts out to restaurants. She wants she'll want some sort of chicken strips or whatever, and it can get kind of pricey. Well, for a whole package of 8, 9 chicken tenders, this is what you'll pay on average. So you're going to see in a few moments that you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck if you take your sweetheart home and cook for her. Uh, Now, what we're going to start off to start enhancing flavor on this is a brine. Uh, Really low fat poultry could always use help from a brine. Many things can use help from a brine nowadays because everything's so low fat. Um, so this is what you're going to need. Um, if need be, you can change out the apple juice for orange juice or pineapple juice, or you can get combinations thereof. All right. You're going to put everything into a microwave safe container, nuke it on high until everything is dissolved. It may take about 5 minutes, depending on your microwave. And then once everything's dissolved, make sure it's all dissolved. You're going to load the chicken tenders into the brine. Give them about an hour, 2 hours at the most. Anything beyond that, there's a lot of salt in there, so don't do that to yourself. It'll make it too salty. Just don't do that to yourself, okay? And make sure everything's submerged. Also, please, please, please make sure that when you're dealing with raw poultry, you wash your hands frequently. And if need be, go ahead and use, if you want to be extra safe, use latex or vinyl gloves like we do in the restaurant business, okay? So just bear that in mind. Safety first. I don't want y'all getting salmonella or cannabis, Canibacter or something like that. Don't do that to yourself, okay? All right, cooking time rolls around an hour later. You're going to drain them, all of your chicken tenders. Uh, you're going to wash off the extra brine. Uh, Let them dry for a few moments. Get a 10-inch, 12-inch cast iron skillet. Don't need anything any bigger or smaller. That's what you want. Good cast iron skillet. You'll find cast iron's a very important cooking vessel in this kitchen. Okay. Put some vegetable shortening. You know, the stuff that comes out of a tin, like Crisco. And you're going to put in enough to cover about, once it melts down, an inch to about an inch and a half inside the pan, depending on the sizes and things like that. Get the shortening up to a temperature of 350 degrees. If you use a probe thermometer for this, just be sure it's not hitting the bottom of the pan. Just don't leave it in there, otherwise it'll read the bottom of the pan, and that's a false reading. Okay. Then you're going to take your chicken tenders. You're going to dip them in whole milk or buttermilk. Uh, you can use 2%. We did this time. But please don't use skim milk. Don't do that to yourself, okay? That's just white colored water, okay? Uh, then you're going to lightly dredge with all purpose flour, shake off the excess, and lay them in the pan, okay? If you want to do a little extra flavoring, before you lightly dredge an all purpose flour, go ahead and sprinkle on some paprika. You could even put a little black pepper, then you dredge. Two reasons why I'm going to tell you to put the paprika under the flour. Well, paprika has a tendency to burn. So if you mix it in with the flour, it would burn, and that's not what we're after. Um, then, and pepper has a tendency to burn, so same thing, okay? Just make sure it's under the flour because the flour is going to form the skin. Lay them in. It takes about 2.5, 3 minutes, depending on your cooktop, depending on how much the temperature drops because you're putting something in cold, so you're going to have to adjust the heat to compensate. Once the first side is done, um, it'll look kind of a golden color. And at the end of the video, you'll actually see what they're supposed to look like. Okay, so you'll flip them over exactly right where they are. Please don't overcrowd the pan, okay? You do that, the temperature will drop significantly, and then you won't be able to get the internal temperature of 165 degrees. Keep a probe thermometer on hand to check that, okay? Um, which is exactly what we did. I just used the same probe thermometer. Once it hit about 165, I pulled them right out, and they were just fine. About 160, 165 is that target area where all of the nasty things that could make you very ill are all dead. Again and again and again. You know, food safety, food safety. That's why we have food safety in the restaurant business. Okay? And, really, I mean, just for these 3, 4 chicken tenders, it really doesn't take that long. Actually, when this first clip ends, you're going to see um, very quickly how, you're going to see what they look like, and you can see how many we actually made. Okay? And there I am sticking it, and I know when that thing says, when my thermometer says 165, we are good to go. So we're going to get them out onto a cooling rack. Please do me a favor, let them sit for a few minutes. We don't want to burn, our sweetheart's mouth. Okay? So it's that simple. Cook up the rest. Watch your temperature in your pan. Just because you pulled them out and everything, doesn't mean it's going to stay at that temperature. And just watch your temperature closely. So here's what they look. Here's what a whole bunch of them look like. And by giving them a few extra moments, you let the grease drain away. No one burns their mouth, and that is a lot of food for $5.71 before tax. Okay? So, low on cash, take your sweetheart home and show your amazing cooking skills. Shoot, while you're at it, impress her parents. Parents like food too. So, and what can you do? Here's how you can serve it. Maybe she likes ranch dressing, or maybe honey mustard. Even better yet, homemade honey mustard. That's another episode. So, what do you think? Think this is worth something doing for your sweetheart? Maybe for the whole family. Just consider how much cheaper it was than taking her out to a restaurant when you're low on cash. Remember, here on Surviving Romance, good food shouldn't cost us an arm and a leg. Good food oftentimes begins right in our home kitchen. With all that being said, get out there and work on a project. If you have a sweetheart, sweep her off her feet. Do something special for her today. And above all, if nobody has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.